morning. This is the Friday, January 26, 2024 edition of the Abel Marketing Facebook Live. And I have with me today Lara McTavish from Lara, Virtual Assistant. How are you, Lara?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So what I'm going to do while we go along in the conversation is we have the ability to share screen so we can look at some of your stuff on your website. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now because I want to feature you in the background while we chat. And here's your website. People can have a peek of it. And I'm going to put this up on my YouTube channel so people can review it when they're done. But here's the here's all the stuff here about you and your business. So first question I have for you, I should say, is why did you start your business?
Sure. So actually, I have been doing a number of different jobs or whatever you want to call it for clients. But what really was the pivotal moment was I had run a public magazine for parents. And as everybody knows, ad sales were down in 2018. And so my kids were getting older as well too. So I was trying to transition into something that utilized my marketing skills as well as would, bring a good amount of income in throughout to replace the magazine. So when COVID hit, I'm also a fitness instructor. So when COVID hit,
Right. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, fitness classes ended up, we all know,
Nice.
shutting down.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, no, I went through it.
Yeah, so I was doing that part-time. I was doing the business part-time and I was teaching a lot. And then I had to shift, and the shift kind of came naturally of, okay, got this marketing background. I've been helping some clients periodically on the side. What do I call this? And making the bigger shift into being a VA.
Yeah, that's interesting. And it's funny you mentioned the fitness thing because I'm a big fitness guy too. And I suffered in the pandemic with gyms being closed.
Yes.
And fortunately for me, I love to ride mountain bikes and road bikes. So when the pandemic started, right, it was sort of spring, right? So the weather was getting nice. So I just switched to riding my bike outside, which I do anyway, and walking and hiking, right? I mean, you could hike. Right. So, but I missed doing some, like some weightlifting or some other stuff at the gym. And I've been a gym guy for a long time. Right. So I went through those up and down processes of gyms being closed, gyms being open, trying to do virtual workouts, trying to figure out like all these little steps. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that is your sort of first question about why did you start your business? Now, my next one was, and I sent this to you in advance, was what was your background in this area? So you've mentioned, I didn't know you were a fitness instructor. Obviously, I've visited your website. We met through Connect and Collaborate, so we know each other a little bit. And I was kind of always curious what you did as a virtual assistant because I looked at your website and I saw a number of categories and functions and things that you do. So I was trying to figure out, like, how do you become a virtual assistant? Because I'm sure there's so many things you can do, right?
So it's really
go ahead.
So it's really just kind of utilizing the skill set that you have, but also willing to expand if clients are needing something that maybe you're not familiar with. And for me, it was I end up defaulting a lot to my marketing background and ending up doing a lot of that with my clients. But then I also am really good at organizing and multitasking. So the admin side kind of comes natural as well. So it's a good fit to have the both because I can think higher level, but also I can get to the basics of little tasks that need to be done that maybe my clients don't have time to do as well.
Yeah, right. And that makes complete sense. So one of the questions I sent you, and I think this is really critical, I tried to read through it in your website, was when working with a new client, how do you get started? So you mentioned on the website a process that a client would go through and an onboarding process. So do you want to, I'll share the screen here so people can see it too, because I think that's really important, right? I mean, you've got a request a consultation. We'll just share it quickly, but it's just a calendar. But here's an example of how people reach out to you, right? They reach out to you, they find you through your website, or they find you through networking, and you've got the marketing background, so maybe you're working on things like SEO and stuff like that.
Right now on the screen. I don't know if that's
sorry.
showing my calendar,
Okay.
booking calendar on the screen. I don't know if that's the page you're wanting to show.
Yeah, I can switch to the website. Here, I'll stop this. There. So here, let's get this running. All right. There you are. So there's the bottom of the website there. Can you see that?
Yeah, the how it works. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was one of my questions, and I've kind of developed these generic questions, but then we go through some other stuff, right? And so that's what I was curious about, is how do you get started with a client?
Yeah, for sure. So typically what happens is the client will either find me online, or they'll get a referral, or, I've posted in a Facebook group or anything like that on social media. And then what they'll do
Right.
is typically the process is they go to my website, they book a call in my calendar, which is complimentary. And we'll sit down and we'll chat
Right.
about, what they're looking for. Am I a good fit for them? The dynamics of how we work together. And then through that, the process takes place of, okay, so we've done the discovery call. I've,
Yeah.
checked off all the boxes between both of us. And then it just goes through the steps of, okay, so now we do the contract, invoice is sent, and then we sit down with them once they become my client. And I have what I call an action plan meeting, where I sit down with them and we take apart their business and really figure out exactly what they're looking for. So is it just they're trying to get rid of a few tasks that they no longer want to do and they want to pass off, and I just need to learn the ropes of that and get passwords and all that stuff? Or do they need more of, okay, I'm super overwhelmed, I
Right.
don't know where to start with the VA, but I know that I need support and help in my business. How can, where can I step in? So it's just a process of kind of sitting down with the clients and really kind of finding out, where the bottlenecks are for them and where the holdups are. And sometimes I tell clients, take a whole week, write out everything that you do on a list, if you can, like email marketing, put it in buckets. I've checked Facebook a couple times, and then look at that list and say, what do you no longer want to do, or what do you know that you can pass off to someone? So sometimes people aren't even aware that they can pass off a certain task until I come in and I say, hey, yeah, that's definitely something I could take over.
I imagine it must be a challenging process too, because especially if someone doesn't know where to start. Given your experience, right? Because it's tough to sit down with a client, and I've done it with my own clients, where you go through this whole discovery process, and you really have to spend time and effort researching and reevaluating, like what's like how the fit works, but also that you guys could work together, but also that you can kind of move through and figure out. There must be a constant reevaluation process at the beginning. It feels to me like it's starting a new job, and you got multiple clients and you got multiple jobs, and you're like, you almost got to feel out, like, okay, I can help them with this, but I can't help them with this, and maybe they're not the right fit, and they're asking for.
That's where the onboarding call comes in as well too, because we can tell, if we're both the right fit for each other. And then I always tell my clients there's a 2-month period of where we're both getting used to working together. You're getting used to my processes, I'm getting used to yours. And then, it's always kind of refined. And then, I've had clients who now I have for 2 years, and we're in a rhythm and we just keep going back and forth. It's like I send them a task, they bounce back to me. It's like that nice game of tennis where the balls just keep going back and forth, right? Nothing goes off to the side because we both catch it at the same time, right? So
it must be challenging. Yeah,
and it's really just like everybody's different, right? All my clients are different. So it's really just kind of what I like though is I can adapt. I'm adaptable, and everybody has boundaries and set processes, and so I'm very clear on all of that stuff at the beginning. So there's nothing that's a gray area, and we both know what to expect working together.
Yeah, that must be a challenge too, because sometimes I guess it's like a 60-day probation period almost, right? They must have with you where they're like, okay, can we work together? Can we not together? One of the other things I had for you, what's the most exciting project you've done to date? Like, what do you think is the best project?
And I was trying to think of that and trying to really think of a project that, I really get excited. And I think what I get excited for more is helping my clients get organized. So when clients, come to me and say, oh, you've alleviated so much off my plate. I'm like, I can spend time with my family now because I don't have to do it all. I'm not, going to bed at night stressing about stuff that's not getting done because I know it's going to get done. I think that's where I get the most satisfaction, not just in one big project, because I do a number of different things. And for me, checking stuff off my to-do list is my big like woohoo moment, right? So
Right.
it's just it's those little moments when clients come back to me and say, you know what, like I'm right, my business is running better now than it was before. And they have
Right.
peace of mind that things are getting done.
Right. And that's really important because I was looking at some of your testimonials. And so do you generally work with small businesses? Like it must be people similar to you, or someone's running a business like mine, and I'm at, like I do marketing, I do copywriting, but I do my own accounting and have someone helping me with that. And I do my own social media. Social media is kind of a forte of mine anyway, but down the road, I might be like, I need to reach out to Lara and say, hey, like, can you do a couple hours a week? It must be challenging too, because it would be for me, because it'd be like, I'm really into social media, but when you give it to somebody else, you kind of have to take your hands off it, right? You don't want to be like, oh, no, like I got to do all the social media, and like you must be having to manage communication there, right? Sorry, go ahead.
It's really just clients learning how to, I don't want to say let go, but just letting, like, having confidence that you've hired someone that will work with you the best that they can, right? So I'm always in touch with my clients. I'm always in touch with my clients at least once a week. If I haven't heard from them, just checking in alone, saying, hey, how are things going? But I think also as well too, in that whole process of you having that discovery call and everything, it's getting rid of all the hesitation about outsourcing. And believe me, a lot of people don't know how to delegate, plus they're hesitant to do it as well too, right?
Yeah, and I guess one of the things we've talked about with Marshall is building trust, right? Building trust and building confidence. And we talked about with things like know, like, and trust, they have to go through that know, like, and trust process with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, and that must be challenging, especially if people can't let go of it.
Yeah. We have had clients who just cannot let go of stuff, and it ends up being more work for them, and then in the end it doesn't end up being a good fit. But that's just something that they have to get over, that learning, that hurdle, right, themselves as well too. But I do have really good clients right now, and all the tasks that I get are within my wheelhouse. And I always tell my clients, if it's not within my wheelhouse, I will find you someone who can do it faster and quicker for you. Then burning my hours doesn't make sense, right? But then that's where I go in and I vet that person for them, so they don't have to do that legwork either. So
yeah, that makes complete sense, because I always feel like that, being in customer service or being in this business, like I always try to be honest. Like people ask me, hey, can you do like web development for somebody? I'm like, well, I've done web development and I have experience with it, but I don't really do it anymore. I can help you navigate it, but you need to hire like a WordPress developer. You need to hire somebody to come in and do that work for you, right? All right. Well, I just want to say thanks again, Lara, for doing this with me. Don't have any more questions for you. Just like it's a quick 15, 20-minute chat.
Perfect.
I'll send you all the follow-up. I'll put this up on my YouTube channel. And we'll keep in touch. So thank you again. And stick around in the studio after we finish the live, and we can chat a bit more. Okay?
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Thanks.